check us out.
I like Xbox.
A little classic motif going here. We got a special treat for you guys today. Our version, but not collectively.
Nope, we don't agree.
No. My version of my top 5 favorite games on
Xbox and my version.
That's right.
Of my 5 favorite games.
Don't forget his version.
Yeah, because it's better than his.
And of the OG Xbox, the original, hence the old, not very clear logo. So
quality.
We have not told each other the list, although I have no doubt that we will have some crossovers. It would surprise me if we did not. Should be interesting though. We're gonna give it a whirl. We're gonna do top 5 each, and then maybe some honorable mentions as well. I'm sure it'll come down to it. I'll tell you now, it was hard. They're out of 988-ish games, give or take. Bringing it down to 5, man, that was rough.
Yeah.
I was living some nostalgic dreams there.
Had to scratch off a few.
Yeah.
Circle another one.
Got 5, and then honorable mentions. Let's get started.
All right.
We're just gonna take turns driving and unveil it as we go.
All right. So, you want to start? Your number 5?
I can start my number 5. I gotta use my cheat sheet here and see what I had 5. Okay. All right.
Oh man.
Here we go. Are you ready? Number 5 for this guy. Sniper Elite.
Woo!
Yes, and that's the kind of games I played, so forgive me in my list. I love me some Sniper Elite. That one, it took them so long to make sequels for these games. It took like 40 years.
I think my thing with Sniper Elite is I play the newer ones so much that I just feel like it's such a big leap from the original.
It is, but that got you there.
It did. The sweet bullet cam.
Cracking bones from the zoom in. I mean, that was the original. That's where it all began. And they even in the newer ones, that was one thing they kept constant was, how the bullet cam works. And had they taken that out or reworked it, it wouldn't have been the same. So that one I spent a lot of time on. I think it was just a one-player game too.
Yeah, it was one player. I think
I just loved it. It was hard.
Sniper Elite 2 added co-op, but it was still the linear.
So that is my number 5.
Woo.
Love that game.
That's a surprise. I don't really disagree. My number 5. Black.
Also very good.
The shooter made by, I believe it was the Burnout team.
It was.
Yeah, Criterion Games.
Yep, there, right in front. I was looking for that. Yep.
The guns, the sounds for the guns was just awesome. And they didn't even bother giving you crappy guns. They just gave you automatics and explosives from the start. None of the little pansy stuff in this one. Straight away.
Good stuff.
Explosions. I actually recently went back and played this one a little bit. It's still fun. It's a little. It doesn't quite live up. The sounds are still good, but
this is our world.
Yeah, no, that's a good pick.
A deniable world.
Like you said, I'd actually forgotten about that one until he brought it up. It didn't make my list. I guess I don't know what happened there.
I think the only issue was it was just short.
Yeah,
it was short and no multiplayer.
Right,
but
I never beat it yet. So, all right, my next one. All right,
Chicken Run
4, the Burger King game.
Yes, no. Sneak King.
My number 4.
Oh, that is a good one.
Armed and Dangerous. Yeah. So far we've had 3 shooters.
This is at least a third-person shooter.
Yeah.
We're clearly about powerful weapons and big explosions.
The shark gun and This one had some wild weapons. It did. The controls definitely better off on PC on this game because it was kind of hard, but the game was so worth it. I mean, you're just battling through pretty much hordes of guys. It was almost kind of like a Serious Sam-ish in a way, and I want to say I remember like even burning down huts and stuff like that, and buildings catching fire, which you didn't see a whole lot of back then.
This is one I sadly didn't get enough time to play. I think it was one of those games that I got later on PC, but I just never. It was fun when I did play, but it was just one of those games that just ended up slipping through. But
no, it was a wild ride, good stuff, and I can't believe it's over 20 years old, man.
Yeah, that's all right. Not bad.
All right, number 4
might be on your list as well.
Nope. Yes.
Burnout
See,
3.
we don't just play shooting games. We play other explosion games.
Yeah, we at least keep explosions in our game top selections.
Burnout 3, that is a classic. Now I know what you're saying. If those of you who have only played Burnout Paradise, that's not what it was about.
No.
Burnout Paradise is what Need for Speed used to be. And some genius somewhere, not that it was a bad game, decided let's make Burnout into just a pure racing game. No, Burnout, this level was taking down cars. You hit them as hard as you can. You try to, you plan your strategy on where you're going to hit them and when you're going to hit them.
And then it had the predetermined crash courses, where Paradise, you just activate a crash going down a random road in the open world.
Right.
That was nowhere near as much fun as just trying to get the high score over and over on the crash mode, where you just send your car flying and see how much destruction you can do.
Yeah.
Then the racing was just awesome too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
Yeah, it was all about piling up the points and taking down and destruction and
Not much has held up to me on this one, I think, in racing games.
And I'm kind of surprised at that nobody's kind of revisited. Let's bring back the old Burnout. I mean, it's a great franchise name, and
some of the original creators are making a new game that's been delayed though. I think it's called Wreck Nation, which is supposed to bring back what Burnout felt like, but their first game didn't feel like it. So I don't know.
Maybe lightning in a bottle on those, but good one.
All right, bring up our next explosion game.
Number 3, Psy-Ops.
Woo!
I like this game.
Really?
And I don't think a lot of people did. I don't think it was well known. I used to sell it. That was my job, not just to sell that game. That would be weird. But sell games at one point.
I sold 138 copies of Psy-Ops one week.
That was awesome. You could use your mind and move things and make things happen. Just all these cool powers.
I mean, if this game wasn't made, I don't think you would have had the gravity gun from Half-Life 2 where you lifted things and shot things, and then newer Control, which is with the powers. I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a pioneer of its time for that kind of game, and it was action, but it was almost kind of puzzle-ish in some regard too. But I loved it, man. You're gonna see a lot of these one-player games back in Xbox. It was just the pioneer time for Xbox Live and stuff. So I think they were still, just people just doing their own thing or playing locally. But this was a one-player, good time. I would highly recommend it. Even nowadays, it's actually been kind of hard to find it on anything else since then.
So this one, I never got a chance to play this one.
Yeah, that was fun.
One that's on lots of lists.
Fable. I will say it almost made my list. It's on at least on my honorable mentions. I'll say that much.
So
because this was an amazing game.
I just loved that the more bad things you did, the more evil your guy got.
Mm-hmm.
Or on the flip side, if you decided to be good, something happened. I don't know what happened, but I never saw that side of the game. I just remember your guy basically can turn into a devil, and like I went through the town where you could buy the buildings, and I figured out if you kill the people in the building, the house goes up for sale. The building goes, so I bought the whole town by destroying everybody in it. It was just good. I mean, I loved this one. This is one of the few. I mean, it's RPG action, much more action, but it's one of the few RPGs that I've probably put considerable amount of time into.
One of the early games where actions had consequences and storyline to it, you know?
Yeah, and like some people wouldn't talk to you if you were evil, or like this even had like...
What they calling you, like Chicken Chaser or something?
Yeah. And then like there was, like, if I remember correctly, there was like some areas in the game that you couldn't even access unless you were good or you were bad. Like it would lock it off from you.
Makes you play through it again, you know?
I didn't.
Yeah,
No.
I don't think I beat it anyway. I have a hard time like straddling the fence. Like, well, I do straddle the fence, and I make bad decisions both ways, and I don't go enough one way or the other on decision making.
I just went full evil on it. It was great.
No, that was a great game. Definitely should be on the list. Like I said, didn't make mine, but it was darn close. All right.
Hey!
Burnout 3. I think I said a minute ago it was on my honorable list.
In this one, it was different than Burnout Paradise. No.
What?
Just do our same spillover again.
Yeah.
And you could wreck cars, but the other one, you know, they made it more neat.
Whatever, blah, blah, blah. Good stuff. It was higher on my list. My bad if I said it was on honorable mentions. I'd forgotten it made my
Why
list.
didn't you put it on your 3?
Well, I mean, I figured if you were going 4, I had to counter it with 2.
Oh, so it evens out at 3. So we combined to make this one 3.
Exactly. If we combine lists, it'd be 3.
Yeah.
So at least in our math world, it would. Anyway, yeah, many hours played on that game, locally and by myself. Mostly by myself, because you know.
Locally and by myself.
Mostly by myself.
You know, probably the best multiplayer game ever.
Yeah, it's not on mine. Oh! Yeah. This is one I'm going to disagree with you.
How often did you play it 4-player?
Well, I just got done saying I play things by myself.
So, this is probably...
You tell me I had to go make friends and
playing
play?
Playing it by yourself is not near as much fun. You play it 4-player. What other game has a dedicated flip-off insult button?
Grand Theft Auto.
Is it a dedicated button to it, though? No, this
might be part of a spin wheel.
Oh, no, this is just one button. And if you hit it enough, it would tick off the other team, and they would come and fight you. So you'd get 4 of your friends. It's 4-on-4, futuristic, like disc throwing through a hoop to get points. But if you knock out the other team, you also can win that way. And different teams were more aggressive than others. And you could just stand there hitting the dedicated insult button, and the guy would eventually get mad enough and just come up and start attacking you. So if you're playing 4 players, it's 4-on-4, it just turns into just fighting as well instead of even scoring points. It's great. Multiplayer all the way on this one.
I mean, I remember the game vaguely, but we'll respect it. We may not like it, but we'll respect it.
Hey, there's no explosions in this one. There's no guns.
There's not even enough moves that you just have a button you don't even really need.
You just beat the crap out of people.
Kind of surprised it made it that high though over some of those.
I had to go by probably my playing time. This in college was the game to beat.
All right, number 1. This one should be interesting because I have a hunch. I'm not even gonna say. I just have a hunch. We'll leave it at that. And the mighty Halo 2.
So, one other thing we did forget to mention, we did make a restriction on each other that if it was a series that released on the same system, you could only pick one game from the series.
Right. We did say that. Not to you guys because we forgot.
Yeah, who cares, you know.
Anyway, down the road, here we are. And yes, Halo 2 was, man, I can't even think of the amount of hours in the evenings and stuff playing that game.
I mean, I remember we went and picked it up at the midnight launch.
Yeah.
And we drove an hour to get it because there wasn't a GameStop in the college town, and then drove back. So everybody gets back at 1:30 in the morning, and we all hop online to
the rest of the night. Yeah.
And this is what made me get Xbox Live Gold.
Oh yeah, I imagine that game probably moved a lot of lives.
This is
Xbox Live.
This is my number one. This is my number one as well. There's no point in hiding.
There's his unveiling.
Yeah, it's
surprise. Halo, the first one, absolutely, it's up there too. But Halo 2, I think it took it to a new level.
Once you go and start getting into playtime, really revolutionized Xbox online gaming.
It did.
I mean, up to this point, there was Crimson Skies was probably the next big one, but nothing near this.
Yeah, by this one they had tightened the controls. They'd really gotten into the map making and stuff. This one, most people's list, I think, would have this up there.
If not, their list is wrong.
It's wrong. It's wrong, and you need to redo it.
Yeah, you shouldn't even have made a list if you didn't put it on there.
No.
You should just delete your list.
Yeah. There's our top 5.
Oh yeah!
Now, some honorable mentions. You can start first, and
Yeah.
you want to bring them up?
I got a couple that let's see. So I had Armed and Dangerous as an honorable mention on mine. Yes. One, which we already went over, but I know one that I believe you probably might have forgot about.
I did not. I did not forget about that one. But that one did not make my list. Mercenaries. Even had the best jingle, But I think that was for the second one. And that brings home my point. I loved the first one, but I think I like the second one a lot better. And the second one was not on original Xbox.
I don't even remember the second one.
Yeah, the second one was I think on 360, I believe. So that I liked better. They both played great to me, but it was like Grand Theft Auto military style,
Yeah, and then you just got to call in your vehicles.
Yes, that was what was cool. Airdrops. You need a tank. You need a jeep.
You need bring it in, blow stuff up.
Yeah, tear down buildings and anything you want.
The final good 2K sports football game. Because after this, they lost the NFL license.
Yeah.
They made that all pro football.
Yeah. Which I consider that one the last great one.
Yeah, but they added
it wasn't.
They added the special abilities to it that I didn't like.
Yeah. You didn't have to use them, I don't think. But no, I agree. That was a classic with old T.O. on the front. I still miss that series, 2K football.
Yeah.
They just did it right. And it was also nice having the competition because them and Madden and a few other unnamed choices along the year, through the years would, I believe it drove them to better games. And, competition's a good thing. So, but no, I'm absolutely all for that one being a mention. Good choice. Loved it. I have a few. Fable was already on there. Max Payne.
I agree with you, but I look at this as a PC game. Because I think it was out on PC before, and I played it and beat it on PC. But
fair enough. Again,
I do love the game though.
Kind of like Sniper Elite. If you hadn't played Max Payne, you're kind of like a die-hard kind of guy. I think, pretty much it's John McClane.
Well,
Pretty
and then
much.
you got, it was like the first game that did like the bullet time well, like the slow-mo dives.
Yeah, he would dive and you could control it in slow motion and then just keep, have your dual wielding guns and just tear up the bad guys and all. Fun stuff.
And the good news is they're remastering Max Payne 1 and 2 right now. So we get to shoot things more.
I did, like I said, I don't beat games too often. I did beat this one. Sometimes even the remasters. I mean, it's fun, but I need to spend time playing games I haven't beaten because I don't do it enough.
I still don't know what that means, beating games, really. I did beat this one as well, though.
Again, when you work at a game store, a lot of times you just play snippets of games, little bits of them, just to try to have something to talk about. There was kind of a habit setting in there with that kind of behavior. It's continued to today, even though it had nothing to do with it.
You could get convinced to buy a lot of random games because you'd just be staring at them all day.
Yeah. And most of the time you'd pick up stuff from the customer anyway on what a game was like. So, all right, let me do another one on my list and probably nobody else's.
It shouldn't be on anyone's list.
Okay. Did it control well? Not really.
Oh my gosh.
But Backyard Wrestling 2, I had so much fun, man. It was...
Oh, this game was so bad. It was a good idea. It was a terrible game.
They had licensed music.
The music was probably the only good part about this one.
And, you're in a backyard, and you could just use everything you found in a backyard. And it was all legal. It was just...
I mean, critic ratings aren't everything, but when it averages a 45 out of 100,
yes.
It generally means it's bad.
And technically speaking, it probably was, but I don't know why. I had a ton of fun with it.
One person logged that they've played this game.
See, and that was probably me. Anyway, again, like I said, not on anyone's list, but it was a darn good time for me.
That is Greg's.
Yeah, and I will say my list was pretty tame today, but he can probably tell you I had some bizarre one-off games that I really enjoy, and this probably fits that. Okay, this one I thought, how can you mention, a game as big as Grand Theft Auto on? I know there was some versions before this, obviously. 1, 2, and Vice City and all that, but this one is where I think it really blew up.
I think for me at the time I liked Grand Theft Auto, but then once I played Saints Row, I was like, man, side missions can be fun.
Yeah.
So anytime from then on I went back and tried to play Grand Theft Auto, I was just like, felt like a taxi game. I understand it.
A lot of time went into it. Did I beat it? Did I get anywhere near the end? No, not at all. And I still do that on those games today. I just drive around and try to get my star count up and how many people I can piss off. But that one I thought was worth mentioning. Just Cause was cool in the fact that, again, it was kind of an open world game. You could steal airplanes, which was kind of a new thing. You had a grappling hook, and you could do stunts. Which led to some crazy antics with this guy. You could jump out of the plane and latch onto something else, and basically you're taking out outposts and stuff. This one I played quite a bit. It was just chaos. It was a lot like Mercenaries. Imagine that with a grappling hook.
I'm just glad you've stayed with explosions for every single one.
I said honorable mention. I mean, with honor.
I had Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance.
Trying to think if I liked that on PC more, though.
It wasn't on PC.
Then I didn't.
The original Baldur's Gate was. Dark Alliance was the Dark Alliance was the hack and slash.
Okay.
It had 2-player co-op.
That's right. That was a great game.
Then there was Dark Alliance 2.
I played it a lot. I forgot where.
But yeah, I played that one. That almost was my number 5. But then, I needed to add explosions to my list because I didn't have it. So then Black.
Yeah.
Black leapfrogged it.
No, Dark Alliance definitely up there.
Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. That was a good Midnight Club.
Yeah, I couldn't get into that one as much, but I understand, and I remember it did have a following at the time, and even now I think those games probably priced pretty high right now, I believe. It was fun. I didn't get into it like everybody else did, but...
Prince of Persia Sands of Time.
No.
See, I think I actually beat that one.
I think that one just irritated me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could get anywhere or do anything, and...
Well, it did have some puzzles, because you have to stop time while doing jumping puzzles.
Yeah,
Or
I couldn't
reverse.
get into the Prince of Persia. No, disagree. You're dumb. But
says Mr. Backyard Wrestling.
Yes, somebody out there.
And I did have Time Splitters.
That was good. That was good.
And that one, the multiplayer was awesome. Well, especially Time Splitters 2.
Yeah.
Greatly improved. I thought it was basically it basically felt like an improved version of GoldenEye.
Yeah.
To me.
Careful.
No.
People try to improve GoldenEye and it just doesn't keep panning out.
I'll just go ahead and make other people mad and just say I don't think GoldenEye holds up when you go back and play it now.
It's rougher than it was.
I
don't know how I ever played it on the 64 with
I don't know how you
one
play anything.
analog.
That was the worst controller known to man ever made.
Yeah. At the time, that's all you had.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're getting off into that on Xbox Day, but yeah, well, that's for another day. I also had the Hitman games, and that even that I kind of liked all of them for different reasons. I thought those were great. Here's one he's gonna love too.
Okay.
I had Greg Hastings Paintball.
All right, I will. No,
I like that.
That one was a good game.
It was surprisingly good.
The sequel though was terrible.
Absolutely horrible.
Like
I think there was a Game Boy version too that was terrible.
Yeah,
too.
because that was like one of the first games that like the Greg Hastings Paintball. You could lean.
Yeah.
And shoot people. It felt like Rainbow Six.
Mm-hmm.
But paintball, that one was good.
Yeah, that was. I want to say it was even a pretty good hit.
I also
surprisingly
had Chronicles of Riddick. I enjoyed that one.
That was pretty good.
And then my last honorable mention was Freedom Fighters. Do you remember that one?
Yes.
That one.
I'll bring that one up.
It just got re-released on PC, and it's still. To me, this one still holds up.
Some old freedom fighters.
So in multiplayer, you do versus, and you'd take over a base, and then you'd get AI troops that would start. So it just turned into big. It wasn't just 4 players battling; it was your guy and all the troops fighting.
It was a hard list to narrow it down to 5. I mean, I feel like I could easily do another 4 sets of 5 and have arguments for any of them. So
except Backyard Wrestling, you should never get to argue that one.
Somebody out there back my play on Backyard Wrestling. Come on.
It's probably the developer or guy that made the game might back it.
Yeah. It's like, whoa! Somebody remembers it. Hey, to each their own. Oh, another one that I didn't write down, but I thought about it. Knights of the Old Republic. But I mean, I didn't put as much time into that, so I didn't put it on my list because it wasn't a big thing. I did play it some, and I totally get it. If it's on your list, I do get that one. That again was another big one where decisions meant things, and you didn't see a lot of that.
Too much story and not enough explosions.
I mean, so anyway, outside that, I'm sure you guys have your favorites. Please tell me I was right, he was wrong, or you were right and we were wrong, and give us some of your favorites for the OG Xbox. And that was kind of fun. Let us know if you like that, want to see some more. We'd be happy to do them.
Yeah, and then, go play some Death Row with your friends.
Yeah, or by yourself.
No,
like I did on 4-player mode. Anyway, thanks. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. yell at us for this list, our top fives, and we will see you next time. Boo-boo!